Hi everyone, it's Jordan again. And earlier today I was thinking about an idea of what we could talk about. And I really didn't have too much of an idea, but I really feel like as I was thinking about and praying about it, God literally dropped something into my lap that really spoke to me and Tracy both that I could talk about today. So this is a Jesus Calling that Tracy and I read, and it is so good that I literally just felt so strongly that it was what I was supposed to talk about today. It's today's, April 12th. Trusting me is a moment-by-moment choice. My people have not always understood this truth. After I performed miracles in the wilderness, my chosen children trusted me intensely, but only temporarily. Soon the grumbling began again, testing my patience to the utmost. Isn't it often the same way with you? You trust me when things go well, when you see me working on your behalf. This type of trust flows readily within you, requiring no exertion of your will. When things go wrong, your trust flow slows down and solidifies. You are forced to choose between trusting me intentionally or rebelling and resenting my ways with you. This choice constitutes a fork in the road. Stay on the path of life with me, enjoying my presence. Choose to trust me in all circumstances. And maybe that Jesus Calling hits home for me so much because I do this all the time. I trust no problem. I trust God completely with no problems when everything is going well, or at least in areas where everything is going well. But when something goes wrong, like my health is called into question, or the health of someone that I love, or someone that I know is struggling, all of a sudden, my trust, my mind, it completely changes. And it does exactly what he's saying. My trust flow, it stops sometimes. I just sit back and I say, what in the world are you doing? Are you still doing something? Are you still someone that I can trust in this area? And if you struggle with this too, then you know what? It's a little bit comforting to me, and maybe it can be to you as well, to know that even people back in biblical times, even God's chosen people did this as well. Think of the countless miracles and things that God did for them to bring them out of Egypt and then to provide for them day and night constantly. And yet, as soon as things appeared to be going poorly or appeared to be a bit more concerning or just a bit more unknown, their mindset changed as well. And they stopped trusting as well. And what happened when they and we stop trusting is we start grumbling, we start complaining. I know for me, when that happened to me, I just stopped saying, tell me what your plan is, and I started saying, do you still have a plan? Is this still okay? Are you still figuring something out up there? Could you hurry up with it? And my mindset started changing, and it was less of trust and more of grumbling and more of complaining and more of questioning and more of doubting and less of believing that God was still going to be faithful. And so I see these things in me. And if you see these things in you, then that's okay. It is hard to trust when things are going wrong. But what can we do about that? What can we do about that? Because I was convicted, maybe you are too. And if you're thinking, man, you know what? That's me as well. What am I supposed to do? I think a good thing to do first is just recognize that. Just say, okay, you know what? That's exactly right. Like, I'm sitting here right now going, yeah, that's me. That's completely me. But don't beat yourself up over it, because God is patient and God forgives. And God understands that we're just humans and that we struggle and that we can't see the whole picture. God is so understanding and so patient with me. I know he's had to forgive me for this more times than I could ever begin or care to express. But God will forgive us for that, and God will be patient and understand that, but intentionally try to do better, and I'm going to do this with you. Trust is a decision. Trust is a choice, and it's an easier choice in good times, an easier choice when things are going your way, but it's a hard choice in those bad times. But you know what? No matter if it's an easy or a hard or in between or something you think about or not, trust always comes down to a choice. It just does. God has given us free will, where we get to make our own choices. And in all decisions that we make, he asks us and calls us, as followers of him, to trust him, to trust that he is faithful. Because something that we've talked about before, this comes down to me, is he still faithful? And his character cannot change. So if I'm trusting you in this area of my life, or trusting you up until this point, and then all of a sudden my circumstances start to not go my way, and here I am now, I don't trust, what changed? God can't change. God is still faithful. God is still sovereign. God still has the same plan. So what changed? Is he less trustworthy now that things aren't going well? Of course not. Of course not. But in the small bits and pieces that we humans can see, that's what we not choose, but that's what we start believing, whether we know it or not. So let's all make the intentional choice, whether your circumstance is good, bad, or in between, whether there are some good parts and some bad parts, let's choose in every single part of our lives to intentionally say, I trust Jesus. I trust you. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying that over and over again. I've done that multiple times. I've just sat down and said it over and over again. I trust you. I trust you. And that helps. And that is an intentionally choosing whether you feel like it or not, because sometimes you will not feel like it. Sometimes the world will not make you want to automatically go there. But it's a choice intentionally to sit there and say, I trust you. No matter what's happening in my world, you're still faithful. You're still my God. You're still good. And I trust you. So let's all make the decision today in every area of our lives, and I'm working on this too, to say no matter what, I trust you. God is good all the time, and he is always trustworthy.